Hey Mel, how are you?
Oh my God, Said, I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Hey, another episode of
Two Writers
Talking Shit. Listen, we have some comments and reviews. Do you want to get into a couple of them?
Oh my God, I would love to. Honestly, nothing means more to us than our incredible subscribers who go ahead and they subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and they rate us 5 stars. But even better than that are our listeners who leave us these beautiful reviews.
Yes, like Shelly B. 14. Obsessed. I could listen to them all day. Such a wealth of knowledge, humor, and vulnerability. I'm the vulnerable one, Mel. Can't wait for the next episode. 8 exclamation marks.
I mean, listen, give it up for Shelly B14.
Shelly B.
And now we've got one from a personal favorite of mine, OGG Money.
That must be one of my rap
No, this is probably one of my friends from Indonesia. Okay?
Oh, named OGG Money?
Yeah, probably one of my childhood friends from Indonesia, OGG Money.
Nice.
Appreciate the knowledge. And it says, this is my new go-to podcast for screenwriting and the industry in general.
Love it.
Thanks for looking out for writers who are on that same grind that you both took to get repped and working.
He has to be a rapper. He said grind.
From Indonesia.
He said grind, and then he said his name is OGG Money.
Well, you know what? Shout out to OGG Money. Yes. We love you.
Another future rapper turned screenwriter. I love it. And then we have a YouTube comment.
We do. We have a YouTube channel. You can listen to us on YouTube.
Yes, the tube. This name is so small, it's hard for me to read from here. But it looks like Matthew Riffle 2 weeks ago.
I think that's when the comment.
I mean, that's when I copied and pasted it. So it might be older. Thank you for doing this. Great info! Exclamation mark.
Simple, to the point.
Listen,
love it.
The people are writing.
The people are writing. The people are listening, and the people are learning.
Because we are vulnerable.
I'm vulnerable.
Okay, you are.
We've got an amazing guest today.
Come on, talk about it.
Literary manager.
Boom.
Producer.
Pow.
Icon.
Brah.
Chris Coggins, welcome to Two Writers Talking Shit. What a pleasure to have you here
I am
today.
so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I don't know if I can live up to that intro, though.
You already have.
I will. Yes, You're right. I believe you.
Now, our listeners love to hear from literary managers.
I mean, excited. Like,
yeah, thrilled.
Okay.
Obsessed.
Our highest numbers are literary managers.
Ooh, you're getting fancy now.
We are. We're growing every day.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, our podcast is really made for upcoming writers. It's kind of like the podcast that Mel and I wish we had when we first started.
Yep.
I know you were talking about like you didn't have a mentor, you just kind of had to figure it out. And that's really what they want to know. And all new writers want a manager.
Yeah.
And so
they want a therapist. That's what they want. That too.
You are definitely
That's
right.
what a manager is. It's a therapist, friend,
cheerleader,
parent.
Yes.
Development
100%.
executive, all of those things.
How do you juggle all of those things?
I don't know. No, just kidding. I've just always been interested in like pop psychology.
Nice.
Oh. So I really want to you should see my bookshelf. It's like attachment theory, good anxiety, atomic habits, the tools, but the body keeps the score.
Oh my God.
Self-esteem, Joan Didion, whatever.
I'm anxious attachment. What are you, Chris?
I'm anxious avoidant.
What do we guess what say
I've
it is?
never read this book.
But you can just guess.
Are you avoidant?
Yes.
Wait, are you married?
Definitely not me.
You're
He's avoidant.
You're avoidant.
Yeah, I'm still on dating apps. So this is
Because
I've dwindled it down to one.
You're avoidant. It's okay.
And it was too overwhelming.
As long as you're aware of it, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm on Hinge now. But
keep a lookout, ladies.
But no, one thing I will say is Atomic Habits is a book that changed my life.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it talks about goals.
Okay.
And I think sometimes people have goals, but that book was the first book to break it down like in a day-to-day thing. Where it was like, if you want to achieve this goal,
Yes.
you need to break this goal.
These are
It's
the
not
steps.
enough just to have goals. You got to break it down into small, functional, actionable steps on day to day.
So tough. I'm such a macro person.
Listen, that book changed my fucking life.
I'm reading it next weekend on mushrooms.
Good, as you should.
Oh,
Yeah.
I read it every year.
Every year.
On mushrooms?
I watch that in Star Wars. Like I read that and watch Star Wars probably every year.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but sorry, it's an amazing book.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have an endorsement on that one. Yeah, I asked my husband about that. I was like, I need a good what's a good management book? He's been a manager for several different, not a literary manager. He's been like a GM for a while at a bunch of different places. And I was like, I really want to get better at being a manager. I've only been a manager for 5.5 years.
Oh.
Yeah. Before that, I was in development and production at several different companies. And I'm just always wanting to be better. Like how can I better serve my clients? And yeah. So he said this book, Atomic Habits, would be good for me. So it's going to be my strike book to read. I'm just trying to how do I do this job better?
So do you want to tell us what company you're managing at and how you landed there?
Yeah. It's Heroes and Villains.
Nice.
Company's been around for about 15 years, I think. So I was a development executive at Escape Artists, and the guys, Marcus and Mikhail, had just formed the company, and they sent me a script called Fall from Grace, and it was one of the first things I sold to Sony when I was still over there. Yeah. And we just became friends, and we've been friends ever since. And so I was at Escape Artists, then I went to work for Ali Shermer, then I worked for Angus Wall, then I worked at EuropaCorp. And then after that, I was like, I really don't want to do this grind anymore, this development executive thing of trying to get a job and all this shit. Anyway, so I was thinking about being a manager, and I called up Mikhail. I was talking to a couple of different management companies, and I said, I didn't know which one to go with. And I was like, Mikhail will tell me the truth because I've known him for however long. And I said, I'm thinking of being a manager. Do you think I'd be any good? And he said, yeah, I think you'd be really good. You've already been doing this job. You just didn't realize you were doing it. But don't go to those other places. Come here. We'll help you sign clients. We'll teach you what you don't know. That's tight. And I was a little nervous at first because I thought, this is my friend. I knew a couple people who were there. And I said, I'd been at some toxic places before. And I said, your friendship is more important to me. And he said, oh, that's cute. We're still going to be friends. It's going to be fine. And he was totally right. Yeah. And it's been great ever since. They're just lovely people. Some of my best friends. We have a great time. We support each other. We share information. I'm actually going to a charity event tonight for one of the other managers' charities, the Leukemia Society. I can't remember which. But yeah, so I love them. They're the best. It's like camp. It's like you just go and you have fun. And he was right. They taught me about deals, about negotiating. And it's a lot of the same skills from development to manager. You develop, you try to find projects for people. I forget the other ones, but yeah, it's a great company to work at. I love Heroes and Villains.
I actually like that. I actually think more writers should choose managers that have either development or producing background. Like my manager has producing background, and I just feel especially early on you need help developing and because it's different. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. And oh man, and our managers, we don't produce our clients' projects. I mean, yeah, we as a company we don't want to be those managers who just glom onto a project. And just be another line item on the budget. I tell my clients, because I have the experience, if you want me to, for whatever reason, you want to be protected more, you think I would be a value add, I will always say yes. But you have to just ask me.
That's tight.
Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Because,
one little known fact, I was actually repped at Heroes and Villains for about 5 minutes.
But who?
We could talk about that off pod.
Okay.
It was a new manager to me.
Oh, I know.
And they left the company almost immediately after I started working with them, which was, I think, right about the time you started working there. This was about 5.5 years ago. Okay, well, that'll be a fun combo.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you brought up the producing aspect because, so the thing about one of the differences between agents and managers is that managers can produce and agents can't produce. So what would you say are the pros and cons of your manager producing your projects?
I mean, I think a con is definitely if they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Because it is a different job. I mean, producing is definitely a different job. It's not just giving notes. It's not, sitting on set. It's knowing how to make your days and what your budget is and what's your days out of days and and how do you find your location. It's a totally different job than managing someone. I lost my train of thought. Go back to the question.
You pretty much answered it. I mean,
absolutely.
I think.
And there are some managers out there who just without question, they just assume they're producing all of their clients' projects, and they do. And it's not even like a question. A lot of times the client doesn't even have a choice in it.
Yeah.
And those are the producers who just sort of like
not okay.
show up.
I would say that's a no.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't.
It's not. And I think like especially after the strike, the non-writing producer from, at least from television, is going to probably go away. Yeah. Just because the budgets are shrinking and you can't afford to have that person anymore.
Yeah. It's already 30 producer names on everything.
Yeah. And that's not, because I've seen my bosses when I was a development executive, I've seen them like do the actual work of producing something and like, yes, developing the script, but also like all the way through production, all the way through post, all the way through marketing and distribution. Like it's definitely a different job. It's not just a label. And I think I do like that the PJ is trying to rein that in. I would like more reining in on that.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
How does an upcoming writer get your attention?
Oh, jeez.
This is like the number one question. Like, where do you get your clients from?
I mean, now they're from referrals.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because I don't have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do look at Final Draft.
Nice.
I still really like them, even though, meh.
Yeah.
It's still good. We hate them, but we love them. Yeah. I do look at Austin Film Festival, Tribeca, Telluride, Sundance. I do look at those every once in a while, Nichols every once in a while, but they've just mostly been referrals, which is not helpful to your readers, your listeners.
It is though, because it does tell them. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's like those are the contests they should be entering. Like when I got out of school, I think I entered in like Louisiana biscuit screenwriting contest.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorites. I love the Louisiana biscuit screenwriting contest.
And when you win, you get a 2-piece meal, and it's amazing. But you know, and I spent money to get into those, and then you start realizing like, oh shit, it takes you a while of spending money, and we're talking about. I had a 9-to-5, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think it is important for writers to know, like, there are contests that are like reputable places where writers have came out of there and become something, or that could at least get you an opportunity to be seen by a manager. So
I haven't looked at Coverfly very much. I get a lot of query letters about Coverfly and Blacklist. Yeah. Like I get a lot of queries that it has 3 8s on the Blacklist. I'm like, that's cool, but I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I do look at Blacklist.
The year end.
Yeah. The year end, and then they have several like fellowships during the year, so I look at those as well because I know that's a curated list. But it really is who you know, and like, can you get an agent to read your script? Can you get a lawyer to read your script? Even like executive friends of mine, they've sent me clients too. But I don't envy screenwriters trying to break in the business. It's so freaking hard.
Well, yeah, I mean, also this goes back. I mean. An excellent point. Don't enter the Louisiana biscuit contest. No.
Unless you want
a biscuit.
The 2-piece meal.
You know,
those 2-piece meals are good.
They are.
That's right. Yeah. And but there are only about 5 screenwriting contests that are outside of the Louisiana biscuit. Our favorite, of course.
That's true.
But the other thing that what Chris is saying about referrals is your network is so important, and it's not just about like. Looking up, but like looking to your left and to your right.
100%. Yes.
And one of the ways, I know we say this over and over again, one of the ways you can do that is you can meet people online and you can form writing groups with them, and those writing groups can meet on Zoom. You don't need to be limited by location or, your financial situation. So figure that out.
And other writers too. I've been referred I've been referred writers by writers who were friends. Like my lovely dear client Noga Noelle. She was a referral from a writer who I developed a project with 15 years ago.
That's tight. Erica
Schreiber. I love you.
That's tight.
Shout out Erica.
Yeah. And and Noga and I have been working together ever since. So like that's which is why writers groups are so important, I think, like to get the feedback, to get the, not negotiation, the networking of it. Yeah. They're really important, I think. I don't know how you get one, but
you can start one. I mean, another thing that, writers in LA, something that you can do is you can also volunteer at Young Storytellers, which is actually an amazing way to kind of start to really expand your community of writers. It is almost exclusively all like working writers, like working actors. And it's also something good to do with your time and your skill set instead of just being obsessed about yourself all of the time.
Yes.
It is in fact volunteer work. It's pretty awesome. So I would definitely look into that.
That's a good one too. And then I'm wondering if, I mean, I know like BU has a good program. We hate David Zaslav, whatever. Never pay your writers. That was the best.
Yeah,
thank you, BU. But I think like schools do have good, I know there's not Missouri, Minnesota Badgers. There's like Hollywood Badgers.
Oh.
There's, I mean, USC, Fight On. I went there. But I think there are schools who do have like alumni programs here too. I would think that would be helpful as well. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, I think put some money aside. I would say, work on your script for a year. Mm-hmm. Put about $200 aside, and enter like 3 contests. See how that script does. If you place in some, keep working on that script. If you don't, then you might need to write another script. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you just got to be strategic about it. Don't blow all your money on all these contests. And if you're losing, because it's all right. Because I think my first year out, I didn't place in a lot, but I just kept working on my script and stuff like that, and working on new ones. It's like it's okay if you're not placing, but it needs work, or you need to work on another one.
100%. I totally
don't keep
agree.
blowing money on this one script.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need more than one. You need a lot.
For sure. What makes a successful client to you?
Well, okay. So
come on. We need this.
Hot seat.
Yeah. Be prolific.
Yeah.
Write a lot all the time. Don't just have like 2 scripts.
Yeah.
Have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10.
Yeah.
Have realistic expectations. This is a marathon, not a sprint, 100%. And then you'll be an overnight success, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Those 2 things really, and get a therapist. I mean, I cannot stress enough.
Oh.
I tell this to not every client, but every like intern, every time I'm on a panel of anything, I say, just get a therapist now. You might not think you need one. You will. This business doesn't make any sense.
That's for real.
Mm-hmm.
And just like get a baseline, just like know what's going on. There are tons of therapists. I love Dr. Baker. Dr. Deborah Baker is amazing. I love you.
Shout out to Dr. Deborah Baker.
Yes. I've probably sent 5, 6 friends to her, and they see her regularly. But it's an overwhelming business, and like you can be so myopic. You need to have like some outlet, and I think therapy is amazing. I love it, and mushrooms, but also therapy.
Mushrooms.
Did I say mushrooms? Yes, I love mushrooms. Everybody needs some psilocybin in their life.
My God.
Yeah.
And not the Super Mario Brothers mushrooms, right?
No,
Just another kind of,
Yeah.
okay.
No, Chris, are you part-time shaman on the side?
I would love to be. If that's not cultural appropriation, I hope not.
No, we need more good shaman, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
/ literary managers.
Yeah. But also I do encourage my clients to like get out and do something. Like don't just be
sure.
writing all the time. Like go
Live
to
life.
museums and go on vacation, and like you have to have experiences. And if you don't, what are you going to write about? Like
I agree.
the same thing every time? No. And take a break. You don't have to be working all the time, which is advice I need to take myself.
Yeah.
I'm not great at relaxing, but yeah, it's be prolific, get a therapist, have realistic expectations, be a good human, volunteer, give your money, do the thing, and realize that, this is not, I know it's a cliche, but like Hollywood is not brain surgery. It isn't.
Facts.
It's not life or death.
Now, Chris, you're booked, you're busy, you're blessed. So what is it about a writer and their writing that really lights you up inside to the point where you say, I have to work with this person?
It's just like so cliche. It's just feeling. You read these words that I'm like, I wish that I could write. That's really what it is. Like, I would love to be able to do that. Like, I can give you a good sarcastic comment. That's what I can do. I cannot write a great script. That's just not in my wheelhouse. So when I find somebody who can do that, who can do the thing I want to do, I'm like, I want to work with this person so that I can put their work out into the world. It's got to be they have to understand story. They have to understand character. There has to be like just this certain feeling that you get when you read something. Like I remember a client I signed a couple of years ago. I was on vacation, and there was like music playing in the background. I was like, I'm going to read this script because I'm going to read the script by the pool. And I started reading it, and it was like one page in, and I thought, oh, I need to not read this now because I need to be in a room that's quiet because this is fucking special.
That's fire. Yeah.
And I had to I stopped, and it was an amazing script, great, amazing writer. But yeah, I think I've been doing this for 20 years. Like I read thousands of scripts and seen thousands of movies. I need to see more, but that's another conversation. It's really just that practice of reading something. And you have to read things that aren't scripts too. Like I'm guilty of not reading enough fiction. Yeah. Yeah. I need to read more fiction. I'm very into the nonfiction.
Me too.
Yeah. It's just a feeling you get. I wish I could say more than that, but like, that's just it. And I do find that, it's kind of like less screenwriting majors that I think are great. I mean, they're obviously very good writers, but I think just like literature majors, just English majors, like people who've just read all of Jane Austen or read all of Shakespeare or whatever it is, like they get story and character in a different way than screenwriting majors do.
Of course. Yeah. Because when you're in that class, like they're draining you, like they're telling you all these rules that don't matter when you get out of there. Like that was the thing I realized is like you almost have to unlearn
a lot
what they taught you in class, because once you start reading these scripts, when you start reading these scripts that are being made right now, you're like, oh shit, I could do this, I could do that. Like, wait a minute, they said I couldn't do this. You can, and and they're teaching you the standard old school way of doing something.
Yeah, the Joseph Campbell, the story, like, all of that, which is good foundation.
It's good, yeah. But if you think that's not gonna matter when you get out of here.
Because it's like you want to know plot, you want to know story, but you really want to know character. You want to know what's your central relationship and where do you want to go. Because the audience wants to go on that journey with you. They don't care about plot. I mean, yes, they'll go see an Avengers movie because that's fun and it's action, spectacular in action. But like they want to be taken. That's why Everything Everywhere All at Once was such a phenomenon. Right. It was like I want to see that woman and her daughter and go on that journey with them. That's what the audience really, really wants.
And it felt alive and different.
Yeah,
like
and beautiful.
I think sometimes scripts don't feel alive. Like I read a lot of scripts too, and I definitely, especially like upcoming writers and stuff, like you'll feel it when like your gut will be like, oh shit, this is
this is
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then other people would like, it looks like a script, and
but it doesn't have that guttural
it's not
feeling.
Alive. Yeah, I feel that.
It's rare.
Now, can you share with us a proudest moment you've had with a client?
Yeah, my client Noga. We had she wrote this movie called Meet Cute.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's out now.
Yeah, it's on Peacock.
Yeah.
Oh,
it has a fucking
Kaley Cuoco,
but
Pete Davidson, BDE himself. Any insider information on that for us, Chris?
Nothing.
Okay.
I
don't even know what you're talking about, but
that's right.
But yeah. I mean, I know who he dated, but go ahead,
Yeah, I mean, it was a script we took out, 2017, 2018.
Interesting.
And then we got on the blacklist with it. We went through several casting choices with it, and then we had one cast, and then that person dropped out, and then we got Kaley.
Tight. We
already had Pete, and then we got Kaley, and then they shot it. I'm trying not to say shot. I'm trying to say filmed, because I want to get rid of that language. We filmed it 2020, like in the middle of the pandemic, in New York in August, of all places.
Hot.
Oh my God!
Muggy.
Yes, and then made it. Who picked it up? Paramount? No, Amazon. Anyway, we sold it for a shit ton of money.
Tight.
Which is great. Just saying. And then it premiered last September on Peacock. Yeah. And we had this great party at my colleague Benjamin's house. And it was just so great to have like this tiny movie that it's so hard to make anything. Like it's just such a struggle to get anything made. It's a miracle when something gets made. And it was just so much fun to just celebrate that this thing got made and we're watching it. And it was a good movie. It is a good movie. I watch it all the time. I do. It's so good. It's just, it's magical and it's beautiful. Yeah. And I did a little part in getting my clients' words, thoughts, feelings out into the universe. And it just meant so much that I can help her do that. And now she gets to keep doing more of those things.
That's fire.
I hope to.
I love that.
Hope to make my manager proud one day.
You will.
You will.
It's coming.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. Wow.
It'll be next year, though.
Jeez.
It's definitely not going to be this year.
Okay, you know what?
It's only year's only half over. There's plenty more time.
I'm just saying this.
Watch me.
I'm just saying this.
Watch me.
I know you.
Watch
you will.
me.
No, I know. I'm proud of you every day, though.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
Uncle Saeed.
All right, I made up. Okay.
Now, I got a question.
Yeah.
So, okay, your client wrote this script. What were the next steps after that? Like, were you sending it out to producers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Could you tell us kind of like the different tracks of what can happen with your clients' features after they're done? Because when we think about the olden timey times, right?
Yeah.
It was a sort of idea of like, these scripts all go out to the studios on Friday
Tuesday.
at 7 p.m. and like by 7 a.m. the next morning, like the bids come rolling in,
yes. I remember that.
We're not in those times, right?
We're not. And I remember that. I was a development exec then, and it was Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, spec Tuesday, and they all went out on the tracking boards, and then you had to had read by Wednesday so that you were turning into the studio, or you were submitting to the studio by Thursday, and then by Friday bidding more. Like, I remember that.
Right.
Oh man, it's so not that way anymore. Which is probably good, because that was really stressful for like a 20-something executive. I didn't know. But now it's more, everything's just much slower. Mm-hmm. And I mean, every script is different, but like, every script is different. So it kind of depends. Like if it's horror, it's going to a couple places. If it's comedy, it's going to different places. When I'm obsessed with the script, a client script, I want to send it to everyone, because I'm like, you have to read this. I don't care if you're just a horror producer. You have to read this comedy, sci-fi comedy, because you have to, because it's great. Yeah. It just takes so much longer now to get reads, to get packages, to get anything. It's like, and every situation is different. Oh goodness.
So sort of like, instead of this idea, and I'm not saying that doesn't ever happen, right? Of like that a certain kind of script from a certain type of writer might elicit the same kind of like bidding war situation, right?
Yeah.
But so it does seem like what's sort of like more common now is that it goes to producers, then the producer is attaching, then the producer's attaching talent.
Yes.
Like it's not like I'm writing this script and then like I'm going to get paid 7 figures for this script, right?
Those days are over.
When is the writer getting paid for that spec script that they wrote, by the way?
Oh man, 10 years from when they write it?
Oh, okay.
Maybe not 10.
Okay.
Maybe 3.
Well, something that's key though in the story is that it got on the blacklist.
Yes.
Which the blacklist has, I think I was looking, like, obviously not all of the movies get made, but it does have a good track record
Definitely.
of having features that become like, that are quality, really good, like dope movies.
Yes.
So being on the blacklist.
It's definitely a thing.
Yes.
And good for Franklin for making that happen, and Meg Halpern over there. Like they do a really, really good job, and they care. Yeah. But it is something,
As a manager, how important is it to you to sort of like campaign for certain of your client scripts to get on it?
I definitely do. I campaign for it. Not a lot of scripts, because I know the odds of that. I mean, I used to vote for the blacklist back in the day when it was like, I'm just going to email Franklin like 10 things, and now it's like a whole thing. Yeah. I know some managers and agents who campaign a lot and make all the phone calls. I know some who don't do anything at all. I like to think that the quality of the work speaks for itself. I don't heavily campaign and like make a bunch of calls, but I do send out like an email reminder of like, remember the script that was great? Yeah. Please vote for, like, I would love for you to vote for this on the blacklist this year.
That's tight.
Hopefully sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But yeah, the blacklist is really, it's a helpful tool. It's blacklist, Nichols. Yeah. Those are the 2 really big, important ones.
Yeah. As far as, because you were talking about the writer being prolific, with your clients, let's say a TV writer, how many scripts, and then I want to ask you a feature writer, how many scripts are you looking for them to kind of produce in a year for you? Is like, what is a good number for a TV writer and then a feature writer?
I mean, it depends on if they're staffing or not. Because if they're staffed, they just don't have...
Not staffed.
Probably at least like 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I fuck with that. What about feature writer?
Feature, at least 1.
A year.
1.5.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah.
Those are good goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Realistic, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to find a great idea for something that's not derivative. I mean, everything's derivative of something else, but like, it's so hard to find that thing that just is like, oh, I can sustain like 7 seasons with this thing. Or I shouldn't even say 7 now. It's like 4 or 3.
Yeah.
So on that topic of finding that great quality subject, do you ever seek pieces of IP for your clients?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, what do you do with the pieces of IP your clients might bring you? But start with the first question, please. Thank you so much.
Like I'm always reading. I mean, I love the New York Times. I read it every Sunday. I've been doing that for, I can't even know how long. I've been 40 years old since I was like 10. Yeah.
I'm a rock with that. I've been 40 for about 4. So
You're a child of the 80s, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that going.
Yeah, it's like
I'm definitely gonna be 40 for 10 years. I mean, Mel's seen. You want to talk? You want to say something?
No, I have
okay, yeah, please. All right.
I've not been blessed with the gift of speech.
Well, no. I'm just, okay, but yeah, please.
Yeah, I mean, I read the New York Times just for story ideas. I read it for the bestseller list for sure. I'm always reading, like, National Geographic is my favorite magazine.
They still make that?
They do.
Oh.
I had to stop getting it, though, and the physical copy, because I have like 300 I have to read, and I was like, this is ridiculous. But I'm always like, sometimes I wish I could stop my brain from doing this, but like at some point I just trained my brain to go, like when I go through the world, I'm like, is that a story? Is that a character? Is that a thing? Is that a thing? And I
love that.
I can't turn it off.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll go just for the story.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, I don't want to go, but shit, it might be a story in this shit.
100%. Yeah. And I'm like, crap, I really don't want to go to this event. I want to stay home with my cat. And no, I'm going to go do this thing. Yeah. But yeah, I'm constantly like looking for ideas, looking for like articles. I have the gift and the curse of being endlessly curious.
Right.
I just want to know everything. I'll send podcasts to clients. I'm like, is this a thing? Is this the thing? Is this a thing?
That's tight.
Yeah, I try to send them. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. You never know. What was the second question?
So when your client brings you a piece of IP, they say, oh my God, I love this book. I love this podcast. What do you then do with that?
Figure out, is it a series? Is it a feature? Is it a podcast? Is it unscripted? Is it a book? Is it a graphic novel? Just what's the medium that this is best served as? Hopefully they are interested in all of those things, like depending on what it is. But yeah, you have to figure out like, and who's the character? Who's the central character? Or who's the character? Lead character? Who's the what's the central relationship? What's that arc? And then I ask them like, why are you drawn to this? Why do you want to make this? What's the thesis you're arguing with this project? It's not just that it's like fancy and shiny. You have to like say something with it, or else why are you interested in this piece of material? And then we just figure out what it is.
And then so in terms of like the rights, are you trying to get the rights directly for the client, or
if
is
we
it
need
like,
to, yeah.
Are we finding a producer who's going to get the rights for the client?
Probably a producer. Well, I'll see if we can do, like if it's something that's sort of obscure, I'll see if we can do a shopping agreement. Like reach out to whoever it is, the author, the writer, the person, whoever it is, and see if we can just get a shopping agreement. If they're not interested in that, then I'll take it as like as an idea with that writer to a producer who I know, I don't think will take the project from me without that, which is, can be dicey. To try to get the rights for it.
Interesting. I went to, no, seriously. Because I'm always wondering about that too. Like sometimes it'll be like, I read like graphic novels. And so sometimes I'll be like, shit, I wonder how, that's the reason why you do need a manager, because as a writer, sometimes you'll be like, yeah, I like this graphic novel. I don't know what the fuck to do. And then the thing is like, you might mess it up hitting the author up. Yeah. Because just like, who the hell are you? But like if it's a management company or like, it looks more legit, and then,
So what advice are you giving your clients during the writer's strike? And also when the strike is over, God willing, like, do you think that things are just going to pick up like where they left off, or what is your prediction?
Man, it changes every day.
For real.
I'm developing with my clients. Oh, I know. I hate it. I remember the last strike. I was, what was it, 2007? I was at Escape Artists, so I was in the development side. And this strike is so much different than the last one. Like that one was quiet. This is so loud. Yeah. I was not prepared for how loud it was. I'm happy for sure.
On both sides though, that's what's wild.
Yeah. And I'm like, can we get, okay, this is whatever. I have no filter. It's a problem. Like, where are the fucking grown-ups? Like, can we get some grown-ups in the room? Like, where's Oprah? Like, I need that. That's what I need to get this strike over. Like, you need to talk, I have so many thoughts about the strike.
Yeah.
I vacillate between being optimistic and being realistic about capitalism. But then I look at like movements like Me Too and Black Lives Matter, and I'm like, when we actually come together on something, like we can make a change and it can make a difference. Yeah. But damn, capitalist patriarchy is a very powerful thing.
Facts.
Original topic.
What's your optimistic date? What's your optimistic date?
That Labor Day.
Okay. What's your dreadly late night this shit?
Oh God, I don't even want to think about it.
Don't even say it out loud.
I mean, I like to deal with reality, but go ahead.
Because like I can't imagine it lasting. I'm thinking like if the DGA and SAG strike, or one of them strikes. Yeah. At the end
I think SAG will strike. I don't think DGA will strike.
They're fucking mad, and they should be. Yeah. DGA, I'm hoping. I'm like, come on.
I hope, but I got friends who are pitching. With directors.
Really?
That shit ain't stopped. Yeah, but keep going.
Sigh. Yeah. So if SAG strikes at the end of June, then it's the week of July 4th. Everybody's on vacation, and then shit gets real. Back to negotiating table before everybody wants to go on vacation at the end of August, before Labor Day, when kids go back to school. And the Emmys are also in September.
Like how you thinking?
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't think people want to not go to the Emmys or not have the Emmys. Like that's the last time we didn't have the Emmys, I think was like 9/11.
Yep.
It was I was a seat filler. Yeah. Well, not because I didn't seat fill because we weren't allowed. But anyway, it's a whole other conversation. That's my optimistic thing.
It's September.
Because I
agree with you.
Yeah.
The more I'm on the line, the more I realize, like this is gonna last a while.
For a while.
Like a lot of my mentors are like, buckle up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit. The only thing I'm worried about is that if it opens up in September, you only got like 2 months, and then Hollywood shuts down.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know what I mean? So anyhow, so you're optimistic.
Yeah, I'm optimistic.
Sorry, Mel. The optimistic is September. Mel, you can't see her, but Mel is furious right now because she.
But you want it to end sooner? I mean, I want it to end sooner.
She wants to get off the ground, which I feel you.
So you're developing with your clients right now. You're saying that what we're going to do at this time is we're going to go ahead and we're going to write on these projects that you wish to write.
Yes, and I'm
that are not with studios. Let's be clear.
Exactly.
We want to get. Let's make sure WJ. We're not writing.
We're not writing.
Stuff
No, not writing studios. But
hands down.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I'm
specking.
Starting to go, and I'm starting to go through just their canon of things that are not set up or sold. Of like, is this feature really better as a TV show? Is it better as a graphic novel? Like, how is it better unscripted? Is there something else we can do? There's always something else you can do. Just pivot to the other way. I mean, women just do that in general because they're like, great, I'm going to go through this window. So I'm just redeveloping, and I'm like learning. I'm learning more about book publishing and how that works. Yeah. I'm learning about how graphic novels work and comics work.
If you find anything about graphic novels, let us know, because somebody in the co-host seat is very interested in graphic novels.
I love graphic novels, though.
I don't know that much. I only know Watchmen, and I've heard Paper Girls is good.
Yeah, but the Walking Dead is the most famous one, really.
True.
In that,
So do you think when the strike is over, do you think things will pick up?
Here go Mel.
Okay,
like, she wants some optimism. No, it's changed forever, Mel. Sorry to tell you. The door is shut. It's slammed. It's a new door.
Zayn has a lot of projects he wants to move forward too.
I do.
Okay?
I do.
We both do.
I know.
Some of us were so close.
I know. I mean, the last strike derailed so many people's careers. It was just sad. I mean, but talent rises to the top. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yes.
But I wonder, will people? I mean, I think people will start buying again. I don't know at what pace, but they're going to have to. I mean, you got to fill that pipeline. I think. Will they be even more stingy? Oh, that I don't know. Yeah. I mean, they always want to save money, but then they want to save money on certain things and not on other things.
Right.
I don't know. I wish I did. But like, Hollywood's like, it's like a cruise ship. Like, it takes forever for it to turn. People think that Hollywood's so liberal and they're changing and so progressive. I'm like, nah. No. I mean, yes, on the ideas area, but on like the process, that it takes. I mean, I was shocked when Me Too happened. I was like, what? Yeah. You're paying attention to us? Like, I didn't know what to do. I don't know. After the strike, September, because then it's
October.
Toronto.
Yep.
And then Venice.
And then November.
And then November, because if Thanksgiving we can't read anything. We don't have any money left in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, yes, you do.
Yeah, I mean that they say it's the worst time.
Yeah, and it is.
Next year, like I said. Oh, now this is a fun one.
Yeah, we do have a fun one.
Yeah, let's pick it up from the gloom and doom, because Mel keeps staring at me like shooting me lasers, because I'm like, the year's over, it's a wrap. But
we got a fun question, so go on and ask the fun questions that you go on now.
What was the casting process like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay, so I was like unemployed that year and whatever. And my mother-in-law would come over and hang out with my dogs, and I was home, and she always watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Because my husband used to go on many game shows throughout his whole career. He was on like Wheel of Fortune when he was 14.
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then she was watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and there was movie week. And I was getting all of them right. And I was like, I should go on this show.
Nice.
And so my husband was going to go audition for the show because he's the game show guy. And I was like, well, I'm going to go too, because they were auditioning for the regular show and for movie week. So I was like, I was going to go. And then we had to go up to San Francisco to do that for, I don't know why they were casting there. And so we had to take the test, and then we take and apparently movie week was not happening. Like that was a farce for whatever reason. So there's like hundreds of people, and we go into this room, we take this written test, and you have to get like 75% right or something. And then those people go on to an interview process, a preliminary interview with one person, just to see if you can answer basic questions. And then if you pass that, then you go on to another interview that you're on camera. And I'm an anxious person. I'm also an extrovert, so it's like weird. Like you're like, what? Doesn't make sense. So I go into this one-on-one.
She's so fun.
So I go into
closed.
But also like, don't touch me. So I go into this room with this producer, and there's a camera and a microphone, and she asked me questions, and my anxious, nervous energy like made me like bounce around the room, and just was like very energetic and entertaining, with like arm movements and whatnot. And so I passed on to the next round, and they were like, okay, we're gonna fly you to New York, because they were filming in Connecticut somewhere. And I went on the show and won some money. It was great. Met Terry Crews. It was cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was. But it's so embarrassing that I lost on a movie question.
Do you remember the question?
Okay, it's not exactly a movie question, but it's close.
Yeah.
So I've never seen the movie Donnie Darko, and I totally should have seen, because
I've seen it.
I've never seen it
and
either.
I've never seen it.
Oh shit.
And like I remember everything, so I definitely would have remembered this. So the question was, J.R.R. Tolkien says this phrase is more beautiful than beautiful.
What?
Oh shit, no, I don't have that one.
The answer is cellar door.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but apparently that's in Donnie Darko.
Yeah, it is.
Cellar door is more
'Cause that's
beautiful
where
than beautiful?
I don't know why, because of the L's, the double L, double O.
Yeah, I think so. I just know the crazy rabbit looking demonic character that's in there. That's what I remember.
So how ironic.
That's dope. What are 3 things you're watching, reading, and listening to that you really like? So what's something you're watching right now that you really like?
I'm watching Vanderpump Rules.
Oh my god.
Good gracious, man.
I just got into it.
What do you think is the
Hold on. No, I've never seen you so excited.
Because it's...
we've asked this question about 8 times. And never has she leaped from her seat.
Because it's so entertaining.
Is it?
Oh my God.
Because so before y'all get into that, I've seen on Hulu the little ad for the doc, and I'm like, what the fuck is Vanderpump? Like I kind of know
for the Randall scandal.
Yeah, so the Randall. So I don't. So let me ask you this: do I have to watch Vanderpump?
No.
First before the scandal shit?
No. The Randall scandal is about Randall
Emmett.
Thank you.
It's connected to the show.
It's connected because he dated
somebody on the show.
Yeah, somebody on the show. And they had a kid.
Real quick, because I know there's got to be listeners like me that don't know shit about this show. Is Vanderpump Rules A reality show?
Yes. Well,
Ish.
Oh my God. All right, continue. I'm lost.
I mean, if you don't know how reality television is produced, then yes. But if you do know how it's produced, then it's
okay.
not
But
so
okay,
much.
all right,
But like
cool.
I was not into it. But my text chain with like 5 of my great girlfriends, they were all talking about it and they were watching it together, and I felt very left out. And I was like, I want to go hang out, and they were like, okay, you have to like catch up. So I watched season 10, and it was very entertaining.
10 seasons of this?
No. Yes,
It's been on for 10 years.
You gotta be kidding me.
No.
And some people have been on since season 1.
Since the beginning.
Like, this is their whole life.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
And then
shit.
Bravo put out like 8 episodes that you can watch to catch up to Scandival.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we also went to Schwartz and Sandy's last Friday.
I want to go.
Oh my God.
So jealous.
It is
Mel
nothing
is
matches.
lighting up
I'm
right
like,
now.
what is happening? We met Brett, the manager. Schwartz was there. Sandoval was not there. I don't think. I know. It's not.
I wish I could
It's
see
right by like La
Mel's face.
Poubelle, and by the like tail waggers, the dog washing place.
It's in Franklin Village.
Yeah.
It's by where the old UCB was.
It is
Yeah.
very entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Did you have
yes.
a matcha margarita?
I just had a martini,
That sounds
dry
horrible.
Belvedere twist. Yeah.
Like a matcha margarita sounds horrible.
Now, okay, so for the reunion, there's a third part is
I
coming,
know.
and allegedly there is this reveal in the reunion that is so shocking. They are not like they're not going back to their regular filming schedule. They're taking a break.
It's either somebody's pregnant, somebody's leaving the show.
Yeah.
They're opening in Vegas. They're
Yeah.
opening in New York. Lisa knew the whole time. I have no idea, but I can't wait.
Okay.
It's so, but also I'm watching The Diplomat, which is really good. Like Carrie Russell
Okay.
is fantastic.
We're bringing Saeed back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I've heard
Have
of
you seen
one.
that?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I want
She's
some on the list.
47. She looks amazing. Like
Yeah.
no work done, as far as I can tell, because I saw her forehead crinkle, and I was like, no Botox.
Yeah, nice,
Good for
nice.
you. So I'm watching that. I need to watch more movies. I still haven't seen Triangle of Sadness. I know. I'm fired from
Is it
life.
that good? Damn, both of y'all?
I hear it's great.
Kayla and Mel are lighting up. Is it
I
that
know.
good? Okay, all right.
I need to see it. Yeah. And then what am I reading? I'm reading The Body Keeps the Score.
I got to get that. I've watched interviews with the author.
Yeah. Bessel Vander.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It really does. When
It
like
makes a lot of sense.
I went to a psychology, like a climate psychology event on the beach today with my friend Bree, because we're very anxious about the world.
She just
As
said
you should.
she went to a climate psychology event on the beach today. What?
That sounds like something we should have
I
done.
know. What did you do earlier?
I can't even remember.
Right.
You're providing a service for writers. That's what you're
Yeah,
doing.
no,
It's very important. Yeah. But no, let's see, I'm reading that. I should read some more fiction. I haven't like checked out anything on the New York Times bestseller list.
Any podcasts you listen to?
All of them.
Which one?
The Town, Left, Right, and Center.
Nice.
Two writers talking shit.
Two Writers Talking Shit.
we know that.
Pivot. Scott Galloway, who needs to be educated on the writer's strike. It's my mission.
Yeah.
And I actually, he was talking about the writer's strike, and I was like, you're so wrong. I got really mad. I'm like, I don't know this person, but he's so smart otherwise and vulnerable otherwise, that I tweeted at him, and then I tweeted, because he's going to get back to me for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I tweeted at Billy Ray, who's doing the writer's strike, the podcast.
Yeah.
And it turns out, because I was like, hey, Billy Ray, can you please educate Prof G about the writer's strike?
Yeah.
And he replied to me, and I was like, oh my God, Billy Ray.
Hell yeah.
He said, no, we went, Scott Galloway and I actually went to UCLA together. He doesn't need to be educated. And I was like, sir,
Do you say he does?
he does. He really does. Please bring him on the pod. And then I stopped because he stopped replying. But I was like, I want that to happen.
Yeah.
What other podcast I'm listening to? The Treatment, the Elvis Mitchell one is great. Erin Keating, who used to be at Snapchat and before that at IFC, she's doing one called Hotter Than Ever about women getting divorced in their like 40s and 50s and how to do that. And I'm like,
That's tight.
I feel seen.
Yeah,
what else am I listening to? Oh, Political Gabfest with my crush John Dickerson. I love him.
Tight.
He's so nerdy. I love it.
Yeah, podcasts are the shit. I do listen to a lot of podcasts, audiobooks too.
There's something about like in the ear, like not seeing something and just hearing someone's voice that you're like, Oh, we have like an intimate relationship somehow.
Yeah.
And you can listen to it when you're doing other shit. Like, it's hard to like watch shit. You know what's funny, Mel? Is I thought that this episode, we should also say, what the hell are you watching, reading, and listening to, Mel?
Well, you know, so crazy. I'm just remembering I had a crazy dream last night that I was like in a movie with Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
And
Wait, how old was he? Current? Past?
I mean,
did he have an axe?
He's probably like 103. I have no idea. Okay. But I was like the love interest. Of course, that's age appropriate.
Yeah.
And then it was like, but then it was this weird thing where like, I think we're also having a love affair outside of the movie.
Oh, nice.
And then Elle Fanning was also in the movie, but she had a smaller part than me, and so was Maya Hawke. And I was like, and in my mind, I'm literally like, why didn't they choose Elle Fanning or Maya Hawke to be Jack Nicholson's love interest? Like, why would they choose me? But okay.
Yeah.
He likes
Anyways, so I guess I've just sort of been listening to my own thoughts.
Your dreams.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
What about you, Saeed?
What are you watching, though?
I'm watching
Vanderpump.
I didn't want to say it.
Okay.
You go ahead.
All right. I'm watching Succession.
Obviously.
Yes.
Amazing.
Very
Strange.
Yes. What am I reading? I'm reading a book called How Not to Die Alone, which is fire.
Are you listening to the audiobook? I heard her voice is very annoying.
I'm not annoyed.
Okay.
I'm not annoyed.
Okay.
Not yet.
And what's interesting about the book, sometimes I tell people the title and they're like, do you think you're going to die alone? And I'm like, no.
Do they say it so excited like that?
That's why I'm reading the book.
I mean, maybe they want me to die alone. But the thing about the book that's so interesting is it talks about the history of dating.
Okay.
And why dating now is in the messed up state that it's in.
Okay. Tell me more.
And how to change your mind frame about how you date, because we got it all wrong, which to me is interesting. The title is just catchy, but like I heard her talk on a podcast and I was like, she makes a lot of fucking sense. So I'm listening to that.
Well, what's the mind frame you're supposed to change your mind frame to?
You shouldn't look for the spark.
Oh, I agree.
She said like a lot of the time when we date, we're looking for this magical movie like spark. And it said to stop looking for that. And then also go on at least 2 dates with a person, because they also said we get rid of people too fast, which I do agree. Where it's like, God damn it, she I don't know, didn't fold her napkin, then that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Trash.
Done.
Yeah. Back
to the dating app.
That's right.
And so another thing they're saying is like, go on that second date. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just see how it is, because they said sometimes people are nervous the first time, blah, blah, and just see how the second one is, and then and so I think it's a very interesting read. I'm obsessed. I think I'm gonna do a show on dating at some point, like make a show about dating now. So that's what I'm watching, reading, listening to.
Beautiful. Nice.
Thank you for coming on Two Writers Talking
Thank you for having me.
If you would like people to find you online, where might they find you online? And it's okay to say you don't want anyone to find you.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
You on Twitter?
I am
like, which one's more
sporadically.
Low key?
Only when I'm angry, my on Twitter.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Probably just, my website is thechriscoggins.com.
There we go, that works.
Okay, let's link to that in the show notes.
thechriscoggins.com. Coggins.
Yes. That's correct.
Yes.
All right.
Mel.
Saeed.
Another good episode.
Another amazing episode.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in to Two Writers
Talking Shit.
See you next time.
Bye. Two Writers Talking Shit is an original podcast created by Melanie Mars and Saeed Crumpler. Our producer is Kayla Guess. Our audio engineer is T. Kelly.
Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you damn well please. All we ask is that you subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and give us a glowing review.
If you're not going to give us 5 stars or any glowing reviews, then why even log on? Save your rants for an open mic.
If you have any questions for us, and I do mean any, you can email us at twowriterstalkingshit@gmail.com. That's the number 2, and then writerstalkingshit@gmail.com.
See you next episode.
Bye.